Hello, and welcome to Nostalgia Line. I'm your host, Heather.
And I'm Nikki, and today we are talking about something big, something important.
We are. We are going back to a world of monsters in your pocket. We're talking about Pokémon.
Yes, Pokemon, the games, the TV show, everything. I am so excited for this, Heather.
Me too. So let's start with a big question. Nikki, what if Pokémon were real? Like you walk outside right now and there's a Pidgey on the street.
Wow. Okay, if it were true, man, I think, well, first I would quit my job
Right away? No questions?
right away. I'm gonna be a Pokemon trainer. That's my new job, my only job.
Okay, so you quit your job, you walk to, I guess, Professor Oak's lab? Who is your first Pokemon, your starter?
This is the most important question ever. For me, it has to be Charmander. Always.
A fire lizard, a classic choice. Why Charmander?
Because he becomes Charizard, a flying, fire-breathing dragon. It's the coolest thing. What about you?
I I think I'm a Squirtle person, the little water turtle.
Squirtle's a great choice. Very dependable.
Yeah, and he's cute. But then he becomes Blastoise with the big water cannons on his back. That's just so cool.
So cool. Okay, so we have our starters. What's life like? Are there dangers? Like, is a Tyranitar gonna just, walk through the city?
I think so. I mean, it would be amazing, but also a little scary, right? A Snorlax could fall asleep on the highway and block traffic for days.
Yeah. Or I'm a champ helping people move houses, like he just lifts the whole house.
That's the part I love to think about, how Pokemon would just help. A Chansey at the hospital, a Growlithe working with the police.
Yeah, it all just fits. It makes sense. This is what got us all into the games, right? This idea.
Totally. So, the games. What was your first Pokemon game?
Pokemon Red on the Game Boy, that big gray brick, and the screen was greenish?
I had blue. I remember playing under my blankets at night with a little light. My parents had no idea.
Everyone did that. That little worm light thing you plugged in?
Yes, exactly. I remember the music of Pallet Town. It's like it's in my brain forever. So simple.
And the excitement of leaving your house for the first time, going into the tall grass, and a wild Rattata appeared.
It felt so big. The world was huge. And your rival, what did you name your rival?
Oh. Think I just named them Gary, like in the show. I wasn't very creative.
I named him something silly. I can't say it on the show. But it made me laugh every time he showed up and said, "Smell you later."
Yes, and the feeling when you finally beat him, or when you beat the Elite Four, it felt like you really achieved something.
It really did. It was my first big video game adventure. What was your team? Do you remember your final team in red?
Oh, let me think. Of course, Charizard, and a Vaporeon, I think, a Snorlax for sure.
Everyone had a Snorlax. He was just there blocking the road.
You had to catch him. I also had probably a Pidgeot and maybe a Nidoking. He looked so tough.
Nidoking is a great Pokemon. My team was Blastoise, Raichu, because I evolved my Pikachu. Sorry, Ash.
You monster!
I know. And an Arcanine, a Vileplume, and an Alakazam. I had to trade with my friend to get Alakazam.
With the link cable, yes, that was a whole other thing. Connecting with your friends. It was so social. Oh, the Cerulean Cave. You had to have a super strong team just to get through it, and then you see him just floating there. It was so intense. I saved my Master Ball the entire game just for that moment.
Me too. There was no other option. And finding the legendary birds, Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres, they were hidden all over the world. You really had to explore every corner to find them. It wasn't just handed to you.
Finding Zapdos in the power plant was so cool. It felt like you found something you weren't supposed to, a true secret. That sense of discovery was what made the game so addictive.
And that social part, the trading, it just grew and grew as the games evolved. It's amazing to think how far they've come since those simple black and green screens on the Game Boy.
You're so right. I'll never forget the moment I played Pokemon Gold for the first time on a Game Boy Color. Seeing my Cyndaquil in full color was a game changer. The world felt so much more alive.
It was. And speaking of social, we have to talk about the anime, the show.
I want to be the very best, like no one ever was.
You can't just say the words, Nikki. You have to sing them. That song is iconic.
It is an Ash Ketchum from Pallet Town. His story was our story. He was 10 years old, starting his journey.
And he was always 10 years old for like 20 years.
Yeah, he never aged, but his bond with Pikachu, that was the heart of the show. Pikachu didn't want to go in his Pokeball.
He was more than a pet. He was a friend. And Misty and Brock, they were such a good group.
And you can't forget Team Rocket.
Prepare for trouble.
And make it double. They were so funny. They weren't really bad guys. They were just not very good at being bad guys.
No, they were not. They tried so hard to catch that one Pikachu and they could never do it.
Which brings us to something interesting. The world of Pokemon has, well, it has some strange ideas, some fan theories. And the movies. We can't forget the Pokemon movies.
Oh, the movies. Pokémon, the first movie with Mewtwo. It was so serious, so dramatic. Ooh, I love theories. What's a good one?
It was. I cried. I think everyone cried when Ash turned to stone and all the Pokemon started crying. Okay, so you know how Ash never gets older. Oh yeah, like the whole story with the ghost in Lavender Town. That was actually kind of scary as a kid. The music was so creepy. Oh yeah, like the whole story with the ghost in Lavender Town. That was actually kind of scary as a kid. The music was so creepy. And speaking of those cartridges, we have to talk about the glitches, the secrets everyone at school would talk about. Did you ever find Missing No?
Oh, the missing no glitch. I remember my friend telling me about it on the bus. You had to talk to an old man, then fly to an island and surf on the coast. And that social part, the trading, it just grew and grew as the games evolved. It's amazing to think how far they've come since those simple black and green screens on the Game Boy.
It is. It feels like we're getting closer and closer to that dream of Pokemon being real. But no matter how much the graphics change, the core adventure is still there. That feeling of starting in your small town and setting off to be a champion.
Yeah, he's 10 forever.
There's a famous theory that, well, it's a little sad. In the first episode, Ash and Pikachu get struck by lightning, remember?
Yes, to fight off the sparrows. It's a very powerful moment.
The theory says that the lightning, it put Ash in a coma, and the whole rest of the show, it's all his dream.
Whoa, no way. So he never really left Pallet Town?
That's the idea. It explains why he never gets older. It explains why every town has a Nurse Joy and an Officer Jenny who look the same, because he can only remember a few faces.
Wow, that is dark. I don't know if I like that.
Me neither. I think it's just a cartoon and we shouldn't think about it too much, but it's a fun idea to talk about.
It is. It shows how much people love this world, that they think so much about it. It's a happy place for so many of us.
Exactly. It's about friendship, adventure, and, catching them all.
Which no one ever really does, but it's fun to try.
Well, I think that brings us almost to the end of our trip down this nostalgia line.
It does. It was so good to talk about Pokemon again. It just makes you feel like a kid.
It really does. So for our listeners, we have a little exercise. We do this at the end of every show. It's our 5-word challenge.
That's right. So your challenge for this week is describe your Pokemon adventure in 5 words.
Ooh, that's a good one. My 5 words would be, my Charizard can fly now.
I love that. Mine would be best friends conquer the world.
Perfect. So think about your 5 words and maybe share them with a friend. Thank you so much for listening to Nostalgia Line. I'm Nikki.
And I'm Heather. We'll see you next time. Bye.